All right, you know what it is, thinkers. Time to put on your thinking caps. I went to the comic book store and I picked up a gem. I picked up Ultimate Spider Man number 14. Now, I am going to warn you right now, spoilers ahead. If you plan on reading Spider Man, Ultimate Spider Man number 14, do not watch this video if you do not want spoilers. You have been warned. I'm going to say it again. Spoilers ahead. I got a chance to see Marco Checchetto at MegaCon in Orlando a few weekends ago. I didn't get a chance to sit down and talk with him. He was really busy and, interacting with a lot of people. But it was good to see him there, right? It's good to see people you respect in the industry, and his work, his artwork on Ultimate Spider-Man is amazing. Jonathan Hickman's writing is impeccable. This is a riveting storytelling, very riveting storytelling. I really look forward to Marvel getting to stories like this with the X-Men. That's what I'm waiting for. I'll hold my breath and wait for them to do that. So let's get to Ultimate Spider-Man number 14. And oh man, what a doozy. I love the cover. You see Spider-Man and Craven the Hunter. And boy, do we got some reindeer games going on. Look, I'm going to say this. I think this book is going to see Spider-Man driven to the brink of really going all out and not holding back. That's the impression I get just reading this book. Like, they're working Spider-Man to that moment where he doesn't hold back at all. So if you know where the last book ended, you had Black Cat, or Black Cat's daughter, who's now taking over as Black Cat, having this I wouldn't really call it a fight, semi-fight with Peter Parker's son Richard, who now has his costume on. But obviously, this is not the actual Spider-Man. So now we pick up on that interaction right there. Who are you? I told you I'm the new Black Cat, and that's only because you and your friend threw my father off a building. Look, I don't know what you think I am, but you've got the wrong guy. I don't even know your dad. And if I did, I wouldn't push him off a building. So, this is a 15-year-old kid. He's like, I have no idea. Like, lady, what are you talking about? And she says, just because you got a new suit doesn't mean you can hide from who you are. So she's thinking, different color. Obviously, he got a new suit. So he must think, I don't know who he is now. And then she says, and what you did. And he says, that was close. Like, she tried to slash at him. So, obviously the suit is helping him out. He says, and I feel like you're not listening to me. And she says, I feel like you're lying because I know you're Spider-Man. And Richard says, I'm telling you that you have the wrong. And he says, you know what? Never mind. I'll just show you. So he has the suit take off the mask and show her who he is, which obviously this is not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. But what you get from this is the inner working of some turmoil that's going to add, it's going to add a complicated layer to what Kingpin has going on and the plans of this whole, organization as a whole. Things are really about to get spicy. I'm telling you, this is going to, Jonathan Hickman has really written a complex story that's going to get even more complex. He says, I am not Spider-Man. And then she says, wait, how old are you? I'm 15 and a half. 15 and a half, right? Everybody always does that half when you're younger. And then as you get older, you like to take time off of that. So now they, get into this conversation, and he says, how old are you? I'm almost 17. So 16, she says, and a half. So she's like, I don't under like what like you're really not Spider-Man, are you? Yeah, I said that exactly the way I was supposed to. I was direct, I was emphatic, I projected my enunciation, was clear, and I used a declarative sentence. Ah, you read a lot. You read a lot of books, don't you? A few. I'm Richard. I'm Felicia. So this is, just the way that worked out is kind of interesting, right? Like I thought it was just going to be an all-out brawl. I thought, okay, Richard is about to get killed. Like this is about to go down, but that's not what she did. And this is probably not the way her father figured this would go down. And of course, how would he know what was going on? Craven kind of has all of this hidden from Kingpin, the fact that he has Spider-Man and Harry. So nobody knows what's going on, and Craven is hunting them. And so now they're in the Savage Lands, and now they have tamed this Velociraptor. Now, if you remember, in the last issue, Peter Parker beat the brakes off this Velociraptor. Like, this Velociraptor thought it was king. Nah, Peter beat the brakes off him. He showed him. And you're beginning to see the true power of Peter Parker. And I think there's some events that happen in this book that they're really driving him to the edge. Okay. February 1st, 5 miles from the end of the Savage Land. Craven knows about MJ and the kids. 4 miles from the edge. He knows about MJ and the kids. 3 miles. He knows about MJ and the kids. This is stuck on his mind. 2 miles. He knows about MJ and the kids. Look, if you are a father out there, for all of you fathers who know anything, you can deal with a lot of things for yourself. You can take a lot of abuse on yourself. But knowing that somebody could possibly attack your children, oh, no. No. That will take you to another level that you don't know you can go to, and people probably aren't prepared for. So he says, 1 mile from freedom. He knows about MJ and the kids. So now him and Harry are on this Velociraptor and they're talking. And Harry says, I'm worried we're lost. Peter, yeah. Are you listening to me? Yeah. Hey, man, you need to focus. You need to focus on right now. You need to focus. You need to focus on that and nothing else, because we have to succeed in this before we can do anything about what's out there. And you need to come to grips with what has to happen. Don't tell me what I have to do, Harry. I know what I have to do. And I know in what order. We have to escape first, then hide our families, then suit up and take care of business. And then what? Do you really think you're going to be able to hide from these people forever? Like you said, let's focus on now. I'll worry about later if we get a chance. In this book, and again, to Jonathan Hickman's credit, the way he wrote this, in this book, Peter doesn't realize it yet. Peter's going to have to get gritty. I have a feeling as this book goes on, as Ultimate Spider-Man progresses, that it's about to get grittier than we have ever seen from Peter Parker, and I am here for it. I'm here for it. I like this. I like where this is going. And I can see why the maker feared Peter Parker so much. People underestimate Spidey. He's got something going on. So you see the Velociraptor seems to have got a bullet through the cranium. Peter falls down. The Velociraptor falls on Harry's foot. Harry, I'm stuck. It's okay. I got you. Peter lifts up the Velociraptor like it's nothing. Did you see where that came from? No, but something's wrong with my leg. Get down. So the Velociraptor, of course, takes another one to the skull. And now you see them in the crosshairs where they're kind of behind this rock, but they're in the crosshairs of Craven. Now come out and play. It's no fun if you simply wait for your death. Yeah, something's definitely wrong with my leg. I think my ankle's busted. Can you walk? Got to, right? We've gotta get cover in the jungle. It's not far. Can you make it? I'll make it. Okay, I'll distract him. Then you run for it. Distract him. So Peter's beginning to understand his powers. Remember, he just got his powers not too long ago, and he's beginning to understand how these things work. And he's making the connections now. He's getting, this is the problem that the Sinister Six and Kingpin is going to run into. Like, in essence, they're dealing with a juvenile Peter Parker in powers at this point. But as time progresses, Peter's getting more and more knowledgeable about his powers, and he's becoming a bigger and bigger threat. And this is exactly what the Maker wanted to stay away from. Peter, what are you? Very well. Who am I to deny a man what he wants? So now his spidey sense goes off and he says, now, Harry, go now. Harry huffs it. Peter jumps out the way. And they're trying to, Harry's trying to figure out what's going on. He says, that was really dumb, Peter. I think I can sense when he's about to shoot at me before he does. And what's good is what works. So let's not overthink it. We need to keep moving. I'm not sure I can make it. I'm just going to slow you down. So Peter says, the Mole Man comes up. Peter says something and Mole Man comes up. So Peter says, well, I'm not leaving you behind, Harry, and you don't want me, to, so cut that out. We're both getting out of here. Oh, that's quite doubtful. At least not without some help. Fortunate for you, I'm a man of means, especially in this place. So this is where Mysterio shows up, and I'm kind of glad, because what I said about Mysterio in my Mysterio video after I did my origin video of Mysterio is actually playing out in this book. Mysterio is actually super dangerous because, along with his knowledge of chemistry, robotics, and the tricks of the trade, camera tricks, sleight of hand, he is not to be trusted at all. He always seems to have a means and a way in where he's going to double, triple, octocross you. Like he's got things planned out, contingencies and something against everyone. He just cannot be trusted. Okay. How'd you do that? This is my domain, my refuge, my place of peace, and I do not care for this current disturbance. You're one of them, aren't you? I am more of them than with them. But yes. So why would you betray the Kingpin to help us? Oh no, I would never dare to do such a thing over such things as you. But the Kingpin knows not of Craven's excursion. So as for why I would help you, that's really none of your business. Well, that was interesting. Think we can trust him? And Peter says, heck no, we can't trust this dude. He's like, we can, or Harry says, we can't trust this dude. Peter is still a little slightly naive sometimes. Harry is more realistic in his approach. And this is something, you'll see what's going to happen, but this is something that I think Peter is going to take from his relationship with Harry. And I think this is something that's going to stick with him. So Mole Man says, good luck, young heroes. but I fear that you're almost. Oh, what are you doing here? Mysterio shows up, just observing the dangerous game you're playing. It's surprising how delightful. I never should have told you we had them, and I certainly should not have told you that they were here, but you did. And any regrets you have, I promise you, I promise are pure folly. You did the right thing, and I will not forget it. Bah, he's like, yeah, whatever. I wish you would, and we should also forget this insane plan of ours. The closer we get to our day of action, the more I fear it will be the end of us both. So clearly they got something planned. Like I said, Mysterio, look, whatever Mysterio convinced Mole Man to plot with him, Mysterio not only has a plot against everyone, he's going to hang Mole Man out to dry for this whole thing. Things are going to go awry. Mysterio is a dangerous dude, man. Even the most savvy of villains should not trust him ever, ever. I got a new respect. I got a new respect for Mysterio. Is there no fear in you at all? I don't see how. Sigh. Gone, and without a whisper. And this is why I'm afraid when the time comes, will you disappear when I need you the most? I think you just might. You moloids cover that. And then hide yourself and the others. So Craven is paying attention this whole time. He knows what's going on. There's danger everywhere. Predators are loose in this jungle. And yes, that is true indeed. And he has no idea how true that statement is. Okay, so now we move back to Richard and Felicia. They're on this rooftop and they're talking. And so he says, so let me see if I understand this correctly. Your dad, the original Black Cat, is part of a supervillain group who actually runs the city. But he got hurt, and instead of losing his territory, he enlisted you. He's been secretly training for years to take his place, sort of. Yeah, that's basically it. And you think that somehow you're technically not a supervillain? Exactly. I'm not. She thinks, oh, I'm okay. And he says, okay. You know, I didn't ask for this. I'm doing the best I can. An hour ago, you tried to beat up a 15-year-old. Hey, 15 and a half, big difference. Okay, that we can agree on. I was just mad about the position I've been put in. I feel so powerless, and I wanted to take it out on someone. Light's kind of glaring on me there. Okay. You don't have to be. I'm glad we met, no matter how weird it is. So, my dad's a supervillain. What's yours do? And the suit says, careful, Richard. So you can tell he's thinking about it. I'd love to tell you, but I'm a superhero. And that means I'm supposed to protect the identities of the people close to me. Well, now I'm really curious. So, of course, he's masquerading as the Spider-Man, and he is withholding the, I guess, what his dad does. And they already know. The Sinister Six, they already know. They already have all this information. Or maybe the rest of them don't know. But Craven and Mysterio and Mole Man found out and didn't relay that information to Kingpin or to Black Cat or anyone else. See how this plays out. I might have missed it in one of the other books. Maybe they do know. I have to go back and read. Okay, done. So they took those collars that had explosives in them and they rigged them. Now they're rigging a trap. They're armed. Think it'll work? So look, I'll give Harry credit in this book. Harry understands the cruel nature of the world that Peter doesn't understand. But in a way, I'm glad Peter doesn't understand that, because Peter is a true hero's hero. We don't want to see Peter go rogue and become just like these other people. It wouldn't feel right. It would feel dirty. It just would feel, yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to take that. It should. We're assuming this guy's an incredible tracker, so he'll be following the way we came, or at least pick up our trail here. Then, if he hits the tripwire or touches the collars, they detonate. Boom. Probably won't kill him, but it'll slow him down. Good, we need that. How's your leg? Hurts. Well, we're close to the edge. We can be out of here soon. I'll say we should stay and fight. I still say we should stay and fight this guy. Put an end to the problem. Cut it off at the source. And look, this is one of those books, right? And this is why I like the way Hickman wrote this, because this is one of those books that really have you question, yo, I like the fact that Peter is a hero's hero, but oh man, Harry is right. He has a point. Now, before I read the next parts, this is what I was thinking, and you're about to see something, and I'm like, man, I think Harry's right. I really think he's right. I don't want him to be right, because I want Spider-Man to maintain his hero status. I don't want that broken. And thus far, Hickman has done a good job of, even though this is an alternate universe story, he is not breaking the character of Spider-Man, which shows you can do a story like this and not break the original intent and feel of a character. That is possible. Hickman has proved that. Okay, we've talked about this. MJ, the kids, Gwen, they're just out there unprotected with no idea what might be coming for them. And you see Harry kind of like, well, and Peter says, what? Gwen's not in danger. Probably not anyway. So Peter's like, well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You heard of ransom insurance. Like if someone kidnapped me, the insurance company would make sure that the kidnappers are paid off and I'm returned. It ensures that things don't get out of hand. Okay, I don't get it. Gwen and I have an elevated version of that danger liability. If something happens to either of us, not only does someone try to resolve it, but the other person gets extreme level of security. It's invisible to the person being protected, but effective. Otto created the protocol, and he would have activated them by now. He would have done the same for you, but Jonathan Hickman, I gotta give him credit. You see what's building up, and you're about to hear something, and it is great that Peter. I'm just gonna read it. I like the way this plays out. He doesn't know who I am. Yeah, and I didn't tell him because, well, I don't trust him. Yeah. Look, Otto Octavius is gonna turn into Doc Ock. I think this is gonna happen. Now, I don't know if he's already on the take. Maybe he is. Maybe he has already been on a take from the get-go. Of course, the maker would note he's an unsavory character. And maybe this is what got Harry and Peter in this situation, but Otto didn't know who Peter was. And if you remember, he kept trying to get Peter to give him his tech so he can do some things. And Peter was like, yeah, nah, I don't think so. Man, wise, and he didn't even know it. So, you and yours are good, but MJ and the kids are just out there all alone. We're getting out of here, Harry, now. So Mole Man shows up and his moloids have been slaughtered. He's, no! Oh no! What happened here? Who did this? It was the man, the thing who hunts. He knows that some of us can speak. So he hurt and killed until he found someone who tell him what he want. And what was that, sweet child? Where the tunnels go. Oh man, and that's so unfortunate. So here you see Craven, and look, shout out to Marco Checchetto, who does an amazing job on this art. And I like the way they captured the colors because it gave you a certain feel for the Savage Land, and it made the Savage Land a character in and of itself in this story. Almost there. Thank God, because my ankle is, Harry, get down. And Craven opens fire. I'm getting really tired of this guy. What now? Back the way we came, to the hatch. Go. So they run. They're going to the hatch. Peter's jumping, moving, bobbing, weaving, doing his thing. You're out. I have as many guns as there are ways to hurt prey. Don't you see? I have hunted everything and never failed to catch them. There is nowhere you can run. So running will not save you. I guess I should stop then, right? Do it, Harry. So Harry throws something at the collar and it explodes. Boom! Blowing Craven to smithereens, or blowing him out the way, obviously not killing him. And he says, it's been some time since I've truly been tested. That was a good trap, but it wasn't enough. And I can tell that you have never hunted, haven't you? Or haven't you heard the saying, there's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal. So now they go to hand-to-hand combat. He goes to slice Peter. Peter blocks that, and he puts the beating on Craving. And he says, hunt's over. Yo, man, Peter's a savage in this one. But Peter is going to need a little bit more of a savage edge without becoming a killer. And I wonder if Hickman is going to write that into this story. Peter's going to have to adjust a little bit to deal with the situation. Obviously, he doesn't have to become, the very thing he's fighting, but there definitely will have to be some adjustment. So he says, now you need to understand there's only one way this ends. So he goes to grab his gun and he says, you hurt us, you bleed us, you learned everything you could about us. But you didn't really comprehend what you were hunting, did you? Did you really think you could kill someone like me with a gun? Peter snaps the gun in half, punches him in the face. You know what I understand now? I know what the line is because you crossed it. No one goes after my family. No one. Do it, Peter. Finish him. You have to. Ah, man, Peter can't do it. Harry, look, you say what you want about Harry in this book. Harry knows what's coming. And Peter can't see the forest for the trees. Haha, pun intended. No, I'm not like him. We're not like him. He's going to forget everything he knows, leave our city, and never return. What are you talking about, Peter? He's a killer. That's what he does. He won't stop until he wins. It's him. So he grabs a gun. He's behind Peter. Peter doesn't see it. Or it's us. And he shoots. Peter's spider sense didn't go off. So Peter's like, what? You shot. I didn't feel any danger. Why didn't I feel any? Peter has no idea. He says, because I was not aiming at you. You were just in the way. So Craven figured out what he needed to figure out about Peter. And because of that, Harry is now dead. He shot Harry in the head through Peter. Bruh. When I tell you, when I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness, this is some of the best writing I've seen in a Marvel book in a long time. And he says, oh God, no, Harry. Done deal. You should have listened to your friend, for he was right. I will never stop. The hunt never ends. What did you do? What did you do? And he is pounding on Craven. Well, this is quite the dilemma. Mysterio shows up. And again, whatever Mysterio is planning, this is what I hope. This is my hope. And I don't know if this is going to happen. This might be pipe dreams. I hope that Jonathan Hickman kind of uses Mysterio to thwart the Maker's plans. And I really hope somehow Mysterio becomes a more menacing villain Marvel wide, because this, like, his double-crossing nature and the fact that no one can trust him and you really never know what he's up to, that's super dangerous. Like, you would think there would be more dangerous villains because other villains have powers. He has none, right? So why is he so dangerous? Man, a man like him with no powers, what lengths would he go to? He'd go to any length because he doesn't have any powers. Isn't it normally we would be enemies as our allegiances demand, but in this moment that is not the case, because I am more interested in him than you, hero, for I have plans. But should he die, should you choose to continue beating him to death, then his end would mean my full attention would turn onto you. So I have to ask you, is that what you really want? He killed my friend. And like your friend said, he is a killer, and that is what killers do. So you have to wonder, if he is so good at it, what makes you think your loved ones are safe? How do you know he's not already sent someone to visit them? Honestly, what makes you think they are really alive at all? Now, this is what I think. I don't know this to be the case. And remember, Mysterio is the master of trickery. Is Harry really dead? Now, he probably is. I might be thinking too much into this. But you never know with Mysterio. And this is why I've gained such a new respect for him. And he is such a dangerous dude, because you don't know. What can you trust? What can Peter trust right now? When you're dealing with Mysterio, the only thing you can trust is your breathing. Nothing else can you trust. That's dangerous. What do you know? Me personally, I have no idea. Of course, Mysterio has an idea. But I do think you should run home now, Peter Parker. You couldn't save your friend, but perhaps you can still save them. Man, something tells me things are about to get wild. Later, Peter walks in. MJ, Peter, thank God. Where have you been? Why haven't you? Peter, where have you been? Do you have any idea how worried we all were? I'm sorry. Do you know how worried I was? How could you just disappear like that? How could you do that and not? Oh my God, you're bleeding, Peter. There's blood everywhere. Why are you bleeding? Harry's gone. What? She's like, what? Harry's dead. I couldn't save him. Oh no, how did he? Why would someone? Peter, what's happened? They know. They know who we are. who we really are. They know about you. They know about the kids, our names, where we live. They know everything. You're scaring me. I'm scared. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Peter, now what? Peter, what are we going to do? We run. To be continued. Man, when I tell you that book right there was such a mind-blowing thrill ride. If you cannot tell, I am so thoroughly pleased with Ultimate Spider-Man. A lot of people complained early on that there was too many books where there wasn't enough action and there wasn't enough Spider-Man. But man, I knew deep down inside, I was like, I feel like Jonathan Hickman is building something, and he is building something incredible, and it's going to pay off. And it is paying off. This book is magnifique. I love it.